And welcome back to a heavily requested game. I'm Matt.
I'm Johnny.
I'm Elliot.
And today we're finally going to do Ratchet and Clank.
Pay attention to that pterodactyl there for a second, as it fades to the left.
Whoa, he imploded.
Yeah, just like a lot of other series that began on the PlayStation 2, the only thing that was properly fitted for HD were the backgrounds.
Yeah,
Not
pretty
so much enemies, because they just, they like to implode every once in a while.
Final step, attach robotic ignition system. Thank you for using help desk technology.
Yeah, this one's a rather chatty game. Better go investigate that one, shall we?
We have another Emerald Coast here.
Alright, so now we have control of Ratchet. Here are the moves. Forgive me, Gadgetron Help Desk.
Sorry, we gotta beat you to the punch! Okay, Matt, what's going on?
Basically, this is kind of akin to Crash Bandicoot with guns, if you will, so to speak. You'll notice that a little more later.
And a wrench.
But eventually it goes into its own identity.
Yeah.
Square's your wrench, X to jump, X again in the air to double jump, circle to whip out your gun. Now each gun has a different kind of reticle. You press circle to fire the gun. You can go into first person view mode with the L1 button. And if you have your gun out, you see a reticle there. Where you press circle, that's where the gun shot's gonna go. You start off at first with a bomb glove, but eventually you work your way up to other guns too.
Huh.
Which is unique in this game. Usually you start off with something like the Uzi or the shotgun, but whatever, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, baby steps.
Right.
It's like in every other game.
Now, if you're in the thing and you don't want to throw your bombs and munition, you can actually just press the square button to do the wrench like a boomerang attack. This game has no strafing in it, not innately. You have to find an upgrade to allow you to do that with the but later games let you do that normally.
You are now authorized to use strafe.
Like hell, yeah, exactly.
Suck it, I don't throw my wrench at you. You know, your wrench, is,
Wrench is very reliable.
Yeah.
very handy.
Ratchet and Clank do some very old things that really get ironed out by the sequels. One particular instance is your health. You only take 4 hits before you die.
Yes.
Later games give you a straight out health bar to deal with that, so it's like, the games become much more enjoyable there, albeit a little easier. Which I don't mind personally, because I always thought like 4 hits in a game where I'm going to be emphasizing heavy shooting is a stupid idea.
Well, the beginning of Ratchet and Clank is pretty safe.
Oh, it's supposed to be.
Like, we're not gonna, like, the first enemies that ever really gave me any sort of shit, in massive air quotes there, we're not gonna see till like the 5th world.
These things will just launch a taser or a short range ray, so you can easily take them out with the bombs.
Like, how many worlds exactly are there in this game?
I believe, if I remember counting them correctly, 18.
But some of them are pretty short.
Oh, okay.
Like, you go there for an upgrade, then you leave, and maybe you go back for like a gold bolt.
Right.
And that's about it. But you get enemies that have projectiles or enemies that, have some sort of long-range means of attack. You can approach things safely. You don't have to be up close to them. You can just throw your wrench at them.
Well, the games are going to want you to really judge use the gun based on your situation.
Yeah. But your wrench is always good as a default means in case, because your guns do have ammo.
Yeah.
It's not like you get a gun and then you can use it as much all willy-nilly as much as you want. You can't do that. Though there are plenty of times where you can break boxes and they'll have ammo for that gun.
And ammunition isn't exactly hard to afford either.
Yes.
So ultimately, it's just a matter of how far you want to go with your wrench. Because ultimately, at some point, you're really going to want to just go full out guns rather than the wrench.
Guess it all depends on the situation. So
that's exactly what the game is. That's what the game's trying to incorporate and have you do. There's no skill points or gold bolts on this level, so I'm not worried about it.
I shall call it Moses.
Interesting.
Guy!
You're quite handy with your wrench.
You bet. I built that ship with it.
Currently, I'm in search of someone who could be of assistance in saving the solar system. Do you know where I might find that fellow?
Well, he's on the radio every week. Other than that, no. Hey, what's with all this save the solar system stuff anyway?
Hello, citizens of... My race, the Blog, have a small problem. Our planet has become so polluted, overpopulated, and poisonous that we are no longer able to dwell here. But I, Chairman Drek, have a solution. We are constructing a pristine new world using the choicest planetary components available. So, what does this mean to you might ask? Using highly sophisticated technology, which you couldn't possibly understand, we will be extracting a large portion of your planet and adding it to our new one. Unfortunately, this change in mass will cause your planet to spin out of control and drift into the sun, where it will explode into a flaming ball of gas. But, of course, sacrifices must be made. Thank you for your cooperation.
Cut!
And if you don't like it, you can take your whiny, sniveling, snot-nosed populations, form a line behind me, and kiss my... We're still on? Well, turn it off, you idiot!
The people on those planets are hosed. Well, good luck getting Captain Quark to help you.
Actually, you could help me. If you could use your ship to take me to the coordinates contained in this infobot, I might be able to gather further information there.
Even if I wanted to, I can't. I'm missing a crucial component of the ship.
The robotic ignition system.
How did you know that?
I, sir, happen to be equipped with the latest in robotic ignition systems. My programming allows me to start any ship I choose.
So, I agree to take you to this, wherever it is, and you get my ship started for me?
That is what I'm proposing.
Deal.
This could be a problem. Take care of it.
Whoa, this is great! So that's where I've been stuck this whole time.
Please return your appendages to the steering mechanism, sir.
Huh? Oh, right. Sorry. Oh, and by the way, you can stop calling me sir. The name's Ratchet.
Pleased to make your acquaintance, sir.
You got a name?
My serial number is V54296.
Oops. I'll just call you Clank for short. Hang on!
So you see, it would be most beneficial if your citizens were not in the city when my workers begin removing it.
Preposterous! I will not stand for this.
Unfortunately, you have no choice in the matter.
Let's just see what Captain Quark has to say about that, my good man. I don't see what's so funny. Captain Quark could dispatch you without even breaking a sweat, you puny...
You have now officially worn out your welcome and my patience.
This is your last chance. Stop this madness now!
Okay, wait. You're right. I will withdraw my troops.
Really?
No! He's all yours, gentlemen. Try not to leave any marks.
Drek's a straight up asshole in comparison to what they usually do for later villains.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really beating around the bush in any sense. A lot of cutscenes in the beginning of Ratchet & Clank.
Honestly, this is one of the more chattier games in the franchise.
Yeah.
Where are you? Oh, sorry about that. Well, we're not leaving the way we came in.
Perhaps we could procure a ship from one of the inhabitants.
If there are any left.
Alright, welcome to the Novalis. First and foremost, you come to every world here.
I got some great
And that's not supposed to be that way?
Yeah. No. It's like that all the time. For the HD collection.
No, it's not, because I've been playing it on the disc, and he's straight
he's
up
not that
normal.
squash and stretch. Okay, well
Nope.
let's a little clarify here. We are playing the digital download version of the Ratchet & Clank collection, and I had a feeling he's not supposed to be that squashed, because folks, I'd never played Ratchet & Clank on the original PS2, any of them.
The only one I played on the PS2 was Up Your Arsenal.
Same here. I got this thanks to Ellie letting me borrow the game for a while.
Yeah,
anyway, we
the
just got swimming controls there. Square dive, X rise. You are on an air meter though, so
It's pretty much the same controls as God of War actually for swimming.
these things shoot 3 times, but their range is very limited.
Yeah, that's as far as they're getting.
Right. And unfortunately, I lack the raw bolts to be able to get my new gun, the Pyrocitor. So we're just gonna have to make deal with the bombs for now.
They give you a lot of collectibles though. Like,
Yeah.
you'd be absolutely it's like collecting Lego pieces in the Lego games.
Right, but the thing is, though, especially in Ratchet & Clank 1, it's necessary. Bolts are not easy to come by in this game compared to later ones. So you're going to want, like, every latest bolt you can scrounge up.
Yeah.
Well, so when I played then again, when it comes to playing these kind of games, I break everything I see.
Right.
And I swing at everything I can, because that's the sort of player I am when it comes to 3D platformers. So there was never a point, from what I've practiced so far, that I had to backtrack for bolts because I didn't have the necessary amount.
Well, the thing is, though, is that there's going to be a gun at the end game, which we're not going to get for this playthrough, called the Rhino.
Yeah.
Which requires 150,000 bolts to obtain.
Yowzes.
Yeah. In this game alone, that's painful. It took me a playthrough or 2 to save up that much.
Jesus.
And that was because I was constantly going after the prizes. Anyway, this is something the game doesn't do often, but without your bomb, aiming at that, and booyah, gold bolt.
Nice.
1 of 40. The gold bolts have no real purpose in this game. I mean, let me rephrase that. I'm being completely wrong there.
I'm sorry, I'm lying.
And your meter's still on the side.
Yeah.
That's another thing that this copy doesn't fuck up.
I chalked out to not being properly converted for HD.
Digital fucked this up because I've seen, like, I've been playing the on-disc version that Ellie let me borrow, and I've had none of these
Well,
issues.
it doesn't always do that, but a majority of the time it does. Anyway, what were you talking about, gold bolts?
Gold bolts aren't used in the first playthrough. On subsequent playthroughs, they're the only way you can optimize your guns. See, later Ratchet and Clank games would upgrade their guns depending upon what you achieve and what kind of damage, like, you know, what you when you use the guns a lot. In this game, what you get is what you got until New Game Plus, where you upgrade them with gold bolts and they get like extra features to them.
Okay.
There is a skill point here I can't get because I lack the rocket launcher to do that.
Yeah, there will be backtracking.
Hi there, Fuzzball.
I love when he calls me fuzzball.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
why.
love this guy. Like, I barely know him, but I love his dialect.
I just like him calling me a fuzzball because it's like, hey, you're a pretty friendly guy.
Hey,
oh, shit.
fucker. How you doing?
No, he's not calling me a fucker, but...
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Now,
like,
whatchamacallit? Ratchet and Clank 1 divvies the worlds up in 2 separate halves every time. There's the platforming half, and then there's the shooting half.
so right now you're going through the platforming half.
Right. And
Okay.
we're going to explore the water caves first. Ooh. Anytime you're going to mook like this, either you whip out your Pyrocitor to deal with them if there's a huge group of them, or if there's a small enough group, just beat them with your wrench.
I would personally save the flamethrower for groups. Yeah.
Well, I'll hop up here because wall kicks will work. And booyah, another gold bolt.
Yeah, you can. Your wall jump is not as what's the word I'm looking for?
Strain?
As
obvious.
No, not obvious. Because you know that too. Because I did it by complete accident my first time. I don't know what compelled me to do it. I guess because I got Mario 64 in mind. But unlike Mario 64, you can't like abuse the wall jump by jumping off a specific angle, because Ratchet will always turn around in a complete 180 to bounce off the wall that he's jumping off of.
Right. Usually the times when you're supposed to use the wall jump are really obvious enough, so you're not going to be like going, oh god, when do I wall jump up here? It's like, oh, okay, that's what
Most of the time they label the walls with arrows.
Right.
What? But like, is there still some of those curious elements to it?
Yeah, you're going to have to be to find the gold bolts. Even in some of the skill points, even I can't remember where they constantly are all the time.
What are skill points?
Skill points are just like tricks and achievements you complete within the game to say that you've done it. In the HD remixes and the versions like that, there are trophies. One particular skill point that always gives me shit is that time attack trophy. Not time attack. Well, I guess time attack is really the way to call it, I guess, because you got to beat the race in under 135 or 136 in the PAL versions.
That's time attack to me.
Yeah, and in this game, you always constantly miss it by about 1 or 2 seconds. And it's just frustrating to see that time and time out again. So, but ultimately, like I said, that's like really the only bad one. And of course, and needless to say, it's a gold, so. Other than that, the skill points are just like little trick shots and stuff you can do.
Look, plumber's crack.
What did you just say?
I said, look, the plumber's back.
All right, wise guy. Shouldn't you be on one of them escape transports?
Escape transports?
Newsflash, giant robots attacking. The escape transports are taking all the rich folks off this god-darn planet.
So why aren't you on one?
Socioeconomic disparity.
What?
He hasn't got enough bolts.
Working people have to wait for Captain Quark to save us.
Well, got anything worth a lot of bolts?
I got this thing. Shows 2 weirdos ditching their ship. It's got coordinates to a desert planet, too.
An infobot. Ratchet, we could use that.
Here's one of the things this game does that later games don't do. You're constantly shelling out some voltage for a few items here and there. You'll usually have enough by the time you get to the area in question, but it's kind of an annoying gimmick.
Sewer pipe?
Mayday, mayday! This is the solar ship Radical. We seem to be under attack from the planet's surface.
Relax, kid. It looks like some sort of fireworks display. Probably in your honor.
Whoa! That was close! Ah!
Pipe down, I can't concentrate.
Well, we've been hit!
An unexpected detour. When we land, I'll see if I can scare up an exhibition for you.
We're not gonna live that long!
Kid, let's scream!
Eject! Eject!
Did you see that guy on the left? That was Skid McMarx.
Does he know Captain Quark?
I doubt it. He's a pro hoverboarder, always going off about how cool he is.
Looks like he's in trouble.
I'll say. I've never seen him look so freaked out.
Gadgetron infobots give you coordinates for new planets. Now that you have the infobot for planet Iridia, you'll need to find a ship to get there.
You want to keep doing my job for me there, Gadgetron Help Desk? But it couldn't have said it any better, though. Ultimately, when you're going to be looking for infobots, which will help you get to the new worlds and stuff like that.
Basically, that's their only purpose.
Yeah.
Unlocking new worlds.
And there's always a quick escape hatch akin to something like this whenever you're done a segment, so it gets you right back to your ship quicker.
Exactly.